this interview that we are bringing to you on Moneycontrol. We are joined by Thierry Delaporte, the CEO of Wipro. Joining me on this interview is my colleague Swathi Moorthy. Thierry, thank you very much for giving us time on Moneycontrol. I must start by congratulating you. You recently completed a year as CEO of Wipro, and what a year it's been. Shareholders clearly seem to be happy. But before we come to your journey as Wipro CEO, let me start by asking you about the first quarter numbers. On the face of it, very good numbers, good beat on revenues, partially offset by a margin miss. So can you break this down for us in terms of organic revenue growth, inorganic, because I'm sure Capco played a pretty big deal in your Q1 performance, how you see this panning out for the rest of the year. And in terms of margins, this is the lowest, I think, in the last 4 quarters. I believe there is also an other operating income component of 215 crore. So adjusted to this, it would have been even way below expectations. So can you take us through both these aspects?
So regarding the growth, we have communicated on 12%, 12.2% in reported terms, 12% in constant currency. That's the growth, obviously, including Capco. Excluding Capco, we grew 4.9%. 4.9%. Okay. So organic growth is 4.9%. So I would say organically and Capco, everyone has grown very well in the first quarter. Okay. And we feel that we'll continue to grow at the same, in the same vein, same trend going forward in Q2. That's why we guided on 5 to 7% organic. In terms of profitability, we didn't miss any. We've said that we would deliver 19 to 19.5% margin, and that was before Capco. I've communicated consistently for the last 4 quarters that our margin levels where we feel comfortable is between 19 and 19.5%. And that is before Capco, and Capco is 2 points of margin dilution. So it's basically 17 to 17.5% is what we are saying, and we continue to say the same. We're not changing. So we deliver 18.8% this quarter, but doesn't change our story around the margin projection quarter over quarter.
So you had mentioned during your intro call, during the earnings call, that you would be crossing the 10 billion, right? The 10 million and the 10 billion run rate. So could you share, what is giving you the confidence to cross that 10 billion in the quarter? And what are the factors that would lead to it?
When we are looking at, how we've grown in the first quarter, projecting our growth for quarter 2, looking at the growth trend of Capco as well, looking at our guidance 5 to 7%, even at the lower end of the guidance, we will hit the 10 billion run rate mark. So, this is where we are. I think we've had a consistent level percentage of growth over the last few quarters, systematically over 3%, 3.3%, 4.9% organically, 12.2% including Capco, delivering 5-7%. We will grow over 20% year on year. That's clear that we will hit the 10 billion mark in Q2. It's going to be a nice milestone to celebrate for the Wipro family.
Absolutely. 10 billion revenue run rate, 200,000 employees, both very nice milestones that you've clocked. But Thierry, Wipro historically has been very aggressive when it comes to acquisitions. They famously had a string of pearls acquisition strategy. You've, of course, led the acquisition of Capco. So while inorganic growth is ticking in at a good pace, what about organic growth? What trends are you seeing there in terms of client additions? Because I believe the TCV has come down sequentially.
Yeah, the TCV has come down sequentially. You're right, Chandra. I think the difference is that we didn't close a $1 billion deal this quarter. We did it 2 quarters in a row. We didn't do it this quarter. So obviously, looking at the TCV, you do not have the same, impact. But from an ACV standpoint, we've done really well. So we continue to have the right volume of deals. turns out that this quarter, we didn't have one mega deal. We had a lot of smaller deals. So that's one. Looking at the growth, the strategy we've focused on over the last 4 quarters is paying off, frankly. Whether it is to raise the bar in the way we are positioning ourselves with our customers, the way we invest in our relationship with our clients, the focus on large deals, the focus on developing partnerships with the large technology companies like AWS, Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, SAP, and so on, is paying off as well. Then we have focused on our efficiency, so sales productivity, win rate, everything that makes us a business with more impact, driven with more discipline, more rigor, and constantly pushing to do more, to accelerate. We've also brought a lot of talent from the outside, as you know, so to create, and it's obviously to drive a culture of diversity, but it's also to bring people bringing new expertise, new ways of looking at things, challenging the way we've been working for years at Wipro, and really all constantly leveraging the best of all worlds. So, Chandra, our focus will always be on driving organic growth. Acquisition, though, is a strategic lever that we will continue to play on, but not to compensate for insufficient organic growth, to address strategic priorities. That is the way we are looking at M&A. That's why we did Capco, right? Capco, because it was going to change, and it does change our position in the BFSI sector as a partner for our clients. We see that every day. Every time I connect with a client, a bank CEO, we are engaging at a level we could not before. And so I think, and we've seen already first synergies coming up. We're going to continue to do it with, other sectors, other industries, and other markets as well. M&A will continue to be part of the strategy. It will start with a string of pearls strategy, but we are not saying no to any other larger acquisition if it makes sense from a strategic standpoint. The real driver is strategic impact. But our growth strategy is built on healthy organic growth.
Right. I just have a follow-up before I hand it back to Swathi. So if I look at your client buckets, right, this quarter, the 1 million clients have gone up significantly, 3 million has gone up. But if I look at the 30 million, 50 million, 75 million, that's more or less remained flat in the last 4 quarters. So what is the pain point there? Are you sort of going to focus more on winning clients in those buckets? Because that's the sweet spot. I mean, they are not too large where, they can squeeze you on pricing, not too small. So what are you doing to improve your win rates in these buckets, Thierry?
That's where we are focusing our investment. And this is where we've got some good results this quarter in particular. Huh? We have 2 more $100 million accounts. We have 2 more $50 million accounts or $30 million accounts. So I think it's paying off definitely, and it will continue to pay off. There's no question. I think we are not looking to create more account or develop more account than what we have, but we are focusing on growing this relationship. And we'll continue to do so. If we look at our top 10 accounts, they've grown faster than the average of the organization. So they become the growth engine for Wipro, which was also part of the strategy, definitely. So it's paying off here, Chandra.
So coming back to the service lines and verticals, so banking has always been strong, and now it's complemented by Capco. So, but what about the other verticals? For example, health. Health used to be one of the strongest verticals for Wipro. So when do you see the other verticals bouncing back?
Telecom as well.
Yeah, telecom as well, yes.
Yeah, consumer is doing great. We've had a very strong growth this quarter. Healthcare has seen a good growth this quarter. E&U has had a good growth as well, energy and utilities. And yes, we will continue to make strategic move in some of these sectors to reinforce them. So that you can expect that at some point in time for sure. If I look at sectors, I would say, healthcare, energy and utilities, manufacturing are sectors where, we will continue to reinforce our position in some strategic markets.
And also talking about the third wave, right? So how do you see that impacting? I know the second wave, we have just come out of the second wave. So how do you see the third wave impacting the business decisions and also the pricing? So do you see pricing pressure for the deals? I think that is also one of the key things in the post-pandemic and post the second wave. So what are your thoughts on that?
So first, you're talking about the third wave. In some countries, we're talking about fourth wave already.
Right, the different stages of waves of the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There's different waves by region everywhere, and everyone is dealing with the different waves, and it's not fun. But we've been very good at adapting to the situation. You talk about this wave. We've said in the call earlier on that, for example, our India business has grown, but modestly grown in the first quarter, and certainly been impacted by what has happened in April, May, in particular, May, June, April, May. I think, we will see. But what we've learned is that, in a year where everybody is working from home, we are able to hire 15,000 people per quarter. We are able to drive the growth we are showing, and we are able to deliver, with no loss of productivity to our customers. That's what we have proven over the last quarter. And we'll continue because our teams now are very used to this environment, and they know what it is to work from home and to work in distance. So I would not be worried, Swathi, in terms of, overall growth impact. You might have here and there some, but it's limited impact. The reality is that, we've been able to grow despite the environment.
Right. I know we're running out of time, so I'll just take, a couple of more questions with you, Thierry. In the current environment, your attrition has already surpassed pre-COVID levels based on the numbers I saw. So do you believe talent, that's going to be the biggest near-term challenge for you? And maybe I'll come to my follow-up question once you give us the answer to it.
Not for you, not for us, Chandra, for the entire industry. So it's clear. It's clear. I don't think anybody is. I have not seen yet a company that doesn't have an attrition that is going up. I think every company has its own way of calculating.
TCS is an outlier, though.
I would simply say, Chandra, that every company has its own way to calculate attrition level. But look at the trends. Assuming everyone is consistent with its own method, all trends are going up. And I think it's a reality because there is very high demand, and even our clients are exposed to attrition on their side. And I think it's another reflection of the fact that we are in a different world, Chandra, where there's a lot more fluidity of the labor market, where you are one click away from, responding favorably to another opportunity. So, and that's the world we are in. And so we need to adapt to that, and we need to be able to respond and connect with our employees so that they are staying while there's opportunities coming to their computer.
Increasing your fresher intake by 33% this year and next year 30,000. So are you also looking at compressing the training period so that they can be deployed? So are there some changes happening on that front? Because that is going to be very important.
We are making some adjustments to the way we are onboarding and developing the career of the freshers, the programs, if you like, so to make them, even more efficient rapidly. So yes, Swathi, we are working on that, and we've we've refined a little bit the model to make sure that, when we have a team of freshers joining Wipro, they can be efficient rapidly in the field with our clients.
Right. Final question from me. It's going to have a part A and part B. My part A is, what is the big cloud-based announcements that you were teasing for us at the press conference? Is it going to be an acquisition, investment? What is it going to be? Part B, Thierry Delaporte, if you have to do your self-appraisal based on the last 1 year, what would you say? You've exceeded expectations, demonstrated excellence, and what's your agenda for year 2 going to be?
Chandra, so 2 answers. One, you're too impatient on the first question, so you'll have to wait, but it will be an announcement that will show our ambition in the cloud, where we are playing a key role as a very strategic partner for our clients. Second, if you're asking me if I've exceeded my expectation, I rarely exceed my own expectation. Unfortunately.
So what's your agenda for year 2 as CEO going to be? What's the big picture going to be? Year 1, you focused on the structure, on the reorganization. What's the big vision for year 2 going to be?
Market impact. Market impact, Chandra. That's only what speaks. Of course, we'll continue to grow. Of course, we'll continue to improve our economics. Of course, we'll continue to be more efficient, but we'll have a bigger market impact. We'll be more and more a unquestionable competitor and an unquestionable leader in our industry.
Do you expect to catch up with your peers in the coming quarters? When do you expect to? You are already with 10 billion. You are inching closer to HCL Tech, who's in number 3 right now.
Catch up in size for sure. Catch up in growth, Swathi. Who has grown faster than us this quarter?
On that note, congratulations on a great quarter and a great year as CEO. And thank you again so much for talking to us on Moneycontrol. And Thierry, here's wishing you the best. Stay safe, and we hope to see you in Bengaluru very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Stay safe as well, and see you very soon.